Nick! Hey, Nick!
I'm the Booger Man.
Are you afraid of the Boogie Man?
Here I am.
No, I'm not. I welcome him, and I wish somebody was under my bed. At least that would mean somebody cared.
Oh,
I'm a Carol.
dark. Well, you know, your roommate might do it soon. You could make him hide under your bed.
No, that's different.
Okay.
Hey guys, it's your favorite final boy and girl, Emily and Nick, with their favorite final baby, Mike, coming at you with a new episode of Gag Me with a Knife, a weekly podcast where we dissect, disembowel, and shred the best and worst slashers. Continuing, sorry, it's hard for me to see that.
It's romance
Continuing the month of love. We're going to bring you 1980s Boogey Man.
The Boogie Man.
The Booger Man.
Boogie Man.
Read the box. Okay.
No, we should review Booger Man from a 1990s
I want to watch the Boogans.
Sega Genesis.
I've never seen the Boogans.
You've never seen the Boogans?
The Boogans. I've never seen
There was
that.
another movie that had that kind of title. It was a TV movie, Mr. Boogity. That
Mr.
one was good
Boogity,
too.
okay.
Anyway, okay.
Hanging with
Mr. Cooper?
Mr. Booger.
For a brother and sister, this is really hard to read. I'm sorry. For a brother and sister, the horrors of their early childhood with an abusive mother and her cruel lover end one night as the boy Willie stabs his mother's lover to death while the man is having sex with their mother. Okay. He's wearing a stocking.
That's on the back of the box?
Yeah. 20 years have
worse.
passed, yet ever since, Willie remains unable to speak, and his sister Lacey suffers violent nightmares. At the urging of her psychiatrist, she returns to the scene and shatters the mirror through which she witnessed the killing. Unbeknownst to Lacey, the real horror is what she lets loose from within that broken mirror, something far more terrifying and lethal than the worst of her nightmares. Director Uli Lamel, whatever, masterfully crafts a modern-day horror story about that most terrifying of childhood fears, the Boogie Man. 1980, your thoughts?
The Boogie Man.
Booger Man.
My thoughts?
Yeah.
You have them, right?
Do you have any about it? What are your thoughts on the movie?
It's cool. It's kind of cool.
Tell us how you really feel, Nikki.
No, I know you have more thoughts than that. You did earlier. Like you talked, like say
What's
what you
up
said.
with the Booger Man?
Yeah, what'd you think of the Boogie Man? Boogie Man.
Boogie.
I'm confused, but I liked it, but I don't like me for liking it. Like,
He's mad at
you
him.
know what I mean? Like, there's a part of me where I hate me for liking it. But also, I know I don't like it.
Okay.
How many times have you seen this before?
I watched it 3 fucking times, and here's the thing. I fell asleep.
No,
just recently.
you hadn't seen it before this, though, right?
No.
Okay.
No. This
I
is
had.
in rapid succession or whatever. I watched it 3 nights in a row, and I kept falling asleep. And like then one night, I like sat in a chair and like watching. I still fell asleep.
Keep your
But
eyes open like
this is all in a very small bedroom, and it's not like it's like I was uncomfortable. It was like the chairs we're sitting in now, and I fell asleep. So I do.
He does, but he
Okay.
doesn't like himself for liking it.
Yeah.
I was in a really bad mood when I watched it, so it affected my
I
feelings.
had seen it before, actually, a lot when it was like an early movie that I like.
Was it on like TBS or something?
No, it was. I rented it from Picture
okay.
Show Video, the mom and pop place where I used to rent
That's
movies.
how all those
I'm a new
horror
release guy.
movies used to
But-
get on USA. Is they were so dark and the filter was so
Then
can't
they
tell
could
it
cut
that. It'll be
everything. Yeah,
fine.
they're like, we don't even have to cut
like
anything.
scrambled porn
But
or whatever.
when I was little, it really creeped me out. There were scenes in it that really scared me, and I remembered that. But I'd also seen it as an adult and was like, this movie isn't as good as I thought it was when I was little. And actually isn't very good at all. But nostalgia for me, I think I still thought it was okay. I kind of got real tired of it
It
at
has
the
at
end.
least 2 sequels, right? Boogeyman
it
2
had-
from 1982.
Boogeyman 2,
This
but
thing's
it's
got
all, but
fucking
it's like
sequels?
no.
Is it just this
Boogeyman
movie
2
again?
is all montages.
Oh,
it's
so it's
so
like
bad. Yeah.
Fucking Hills Have Eyes does that, except they're like BMX bikers or some shit. And then
I can't
Saturday Night
remember
Deadly
what.
Night 2 does that.
Yeah, I can't remember what all happened. I
So
saw
Evil
it.
Dead 2 actually is a better movie because they
I don't
would have
think it's
they would
better,
have done
but-
this in Evil Dead 2, but they just had to redo it because they didn't have the rights to that footage.
I don't like Evil Dead 2, so but
Lame.
I don't. But
Boo, this woman.
whatever. You
What's
knew
wrong with
that.
you?
I don't know. You knew that.
If you lose a
What's wrong with
Patreon to
you?
this, you earned that.
I got a penny.
Nick and I
I got some
love
penny
Evil Dead
loafers
2.
in the mail today.
What? Now?
I got some penny loafers in the mail today.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
You sent your panties in the mail today?
Penny
sent 'em,
loafer.
yeah.
I got some
Alright.
penny loafers.
Send 'em
Hey,
straight over to
Babysitter,
Asia.
let's get this started.
Anyway, 1980.
1980.
It's okay.
Boogie
It's not the
Boogie
worst thing
Man.
I've ever seen. It had some cool shots. It's an
Part of me
early
was like,
slasher.
did
whatever.
I like this more than Wood Chipper Massacre?
No,
having said
I hope
that,
so.
I like the Wood Chipper Massacre.
We know that you've talked about it a few times, a few more times than it ever needs to be talked about.
Okay, so
Continue.
it starts out with this killer synth, which
The
is
synth is
confusing.
good.
The synth is good, but in the movie,
the
they make some
score
weird
is
decisions.
Strong in this movie.
The score
man.
is strong,
Like,
and the music and the bands. 4 out of 5 Doctors
4 out of 5
has
Doctors
2
rules.
songs in it, and they're really good. So
So there's a big house at night. I don't know if this is where it looks like the Amityville house, but this house looks like Amityville house.
yeah, it
Yeah.
does.
There's kids.
I think that's kind of the problem. That was my whole thing with it. It was
When did
like,
Amityville come out?
79.
77. Oh, I thought it was like 77.
think it's
79.
79. Pretty
Yeah,
sure.
you're right. I think.
But like that was my kind of whole thing. It was
I don't
like,
really like
This it. is
maybe
Wilburn.
the problem with this whole movie with like their whole like antagonist is like don't live there. It's the Amityville house.
Yeah.
Well, I will say,
Move,
back to
bitches.
that
But they
real
did
quick.
move. They would be fine if they just fucking didn't break that mirror.
I mean,
Sorry.
it's the same thing. There's
Once
priest
again,
bleeding
I
in
will
this
say
motherfucker.
that in the Boogeyman 2, she it's the sister. She goes to Hollywood to the home of a film director, and she brings along like the thing, but
The
it's mostly
shard.
just mostly it's just shots from like the first movie.
Lame.
It's so bad. It's like it has even just on IMDb.
The Hills Have Eyes is one of my
stars.
favorite movies.
Two,
Not
like,
the fucking remake. The original Hills Have Eyes is one of my favorite
the
movies.
remake's
So I was
awesome.
like, oh shit, Hills Have Eyes 2. I'm going to watch it.
Oh, but Uli
And I
Lomel is
just
in the
watched the
second
first
one.
one.
He plays the director that she's going to take the step to in the second one.
Who does?
The real director.
Oh.
But even
Uli.
on IMDb, which I know that slashers. Okay, if a
don't
if a
score too
slasher
well.
movie gets at least 5 stars on IMDb, I'm like, it's probably gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Because I know that they don't rate high, but a 2
Two's
is
pretty
really
low.
bad. And the second one got only 2. I don't know how many the first one got, but
So there's this big house, and there's these 2 little kids looking through a window at sexy time.
4.6. The first
Oh,
one.
the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're seeing their mom fucking take off her stocking and put it over this guy's face. And then she notices they're out there. And she's like, hey, kids, don't spy on us. And she's drinking. And she's like,
Stop
kids, go to
doing
bed. And then I guess the guy in the pantyhose head, he ties the little boy,
He's
Willie,
creepy
up.
looking, okay? He really is.
He ties the boy up to the bed, which is not cool. It's not cool.
No.
But
And apparently beats him.
then we
I
see,
didn't see
I didn't
that,
see the
though.
beating.
No, I didn't either.
And I didn't see him beating the mom. I was like, okay, the guy, she put the pantyhose on his head. It's not like he's like got a fetish for that. He shouldn't be tying this little boy up. But the lady probably told him to, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want
I
to see
think
this
she
little
did.
boy.
Well, she was like, I told you to stay outside or whatever.
But they don't tie up Lacey.
It's a very
and
strange thing.
Oh, I did say about the score. I called it like it was like an Exorcist ripoff that turned into a Halloween ripoff.
it's really
but it was
an
good.
Amityville
but it was
ripoff.
good.
Dude, a lot of this though
It's
was
more
like
Amityville
was
than either one of
going on
those.
whenever like nothing really like horror theme was going on, and it was
Yeah.
like, and it's
So-
like people like eating a sandwich at a Subway or something like that. You know, it's like, why?
Well,
Why?
Jared.
What?
Jared.
I mean,
From Subway.
That's why.
That's different.
So apparently they
Yeah.
should have tied up little Lacey too, because she goes and gets a knife, cuts her brother's bindings.
I didn't understand why they
He-
tied him up and not her, but
We
I
see,
mean, neither of them should have been tied up. Just saying.
Yeah, they shouldn't be tied up. But if you're gonna tie
But
up
if you're
one,
gonna tie up one, why? Yeah.
I mean, because Lacey goes, gets a knife. We see a knife in a hand going down the hallway. Because they kind of make it seem like, did she kill her brother? It lingers on her with the knife raised high. But when they get to the bedroom, we see that Willie now has the knife in hand. And guess he stabs this man while he's fucking the mom. And Lacey sees it through the mirror. Then we cut to 20 years later. It says in a text on the screen, and there's a graveyard. We hear some singing, and in the side of this church, and there is a priest with acolytes. I hope they didn't get molested. And I guess he starts singing the hymn by himself, but then you see Mike, everybody
Mike,
is singing in the church.
I might have got you on this one before, but what do you call an altar boy with a
You already said that's full.
Full, okay.
Yeah,
you said it already.
Oldie but a goodie, baby.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he said it in like
sweating to the oldies.
Maybe don't torture a duck. Well, now it was before then.
Snotting to the oldies.
Lacey and Willie are at church. Willie does not look happy. And then we see Lacey in the confessional talking about that night. She doesn't really go into much detail, but we just saw the whole fucking thing. But I didn't see anything. I'm sorry, but if you're going to have a man get murdered and become a boogeyman.
Did you just tell what happened? That she untied him, gave him the knife, and then he stabbed.
Yeah,
okay.
I said all that fucking shit.
Sorry.
Get off your phone and listen to the goddamn
I was looking at how, I know, I was looking at 85% of Boogeyman 2 is montages from Boogeyman 1. And Paramount wanted to like make, because this movie made a lot of money.
Yeah, no, they
wanted to like, and they wanted to give him a lot, like they really wanted him to do a new one, like a bigger budget sequel.
He didn't direct this, the second one.
He did, yes he did.
I thought it was some guy named Bruce.
No. He did. He didn't want to work for a big studio and decided to make the film as an independent production.
Well, it worked the first time.
Which later he pulled from circulation.
Okay, so...
Yeah.
So the second one was directed... You thought the second one was directed...
By some guy named Bruce.
Oh my God. I'm going to be the second person here pulling up some Google bullshit because I looked it up today.
Guy named Bruce.
Yesterday. And
it says Bruce Pern and two
others.
others.
Two Bruces. Bruce Pern.
Yeah, but it's really his
name.
movie. It's his movie.
They're like, oh, we can't put the name Uli Lama on this movie because it's
even though he did the first one.
Sounds German.
But he did the first one. Who the fuck cares?
Yeah. So,
whatever. I mean, what else did he even do?
So after talking about that night, we see Lacey playing with her kid Kevin, while Aunt Helen is hanging clothes, and the priest shows up. And he's
he did work with Warhol, right?
It's a tobacco farm, and we meet the preacher meets up with Willie the Mute, and the preacher gets invited to stay for dinner, and they have like chicken and Lacey's. It looks like he's a cop. Jake seems like a cop, I think. He comes home when Jake first comes home. He's wearing
Lacey's husband.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
he didn't really seem like a cop to me.
I think he was dressed like a cop. We see Willie working some corn.
Just wearing regular clothes.
And then we cut to the dinner scene with the preacher. Is he a preacher? Is he a preacher or a priest? Is that Catholic shit?
It's a priest.
He's a priest. Okay, so the priest is there for dinner.
I don't know. There are different kinds. Remember the fat guy and the key guy in What Have You Done to Slunge? He's like, I don't know. A priest is a priest, man. Apparently, they're a Protestant priest. They're Catholic priests. They're all kinds of priests.
Is he a Franciscan? Is he a Dominican? He's a priest.
Just a priest is a priest is a priest
so
is a priest.
At dinner,
molest little boys.
Dinner's interrupted by some scary male music.
Priest. What have you done to Solange? Who is Solange? We don't know, but somebody's done something.
That was like a month ago, y'all.
Can we get to the bottom of this murder?
2 weeks ago.
Okay, so they're at dinner, and some mail gets handed over. There's scary male music.
You're cool.
Ooh, there's mail.
I have no idea, but it's interesting.
The mother.
You're a priest. You're cool. You're a priest.
The mother sent a letter saying she was not in good health and she would like to see her children one more time.
And they're like, fuck that.
And even though she doesn't read the letter out loud to Willie, Willie starts freaking out. Lacey starts freaking out.
Yeah, they don't go visit her, do they?
Willie, no.
Okay, I didn't think so.
They just go to the house instead. Willie gets upset. Even though he didn't read the fucking letter, Willie gets upset and leaves the table, and Lacey chases him down to calm him down. They go back in.
And they're brother and sister in real life, so...
Yeah, Nicholas and Susanna Love.
Nicholas was in Fatal Games. He
And
sucks.
Susanna is married to Lee Lamont and in a bunch of his movies. So,
and you got on to me about Jack.
He was in Twin
Nicholas
Peaks, though.
sucks.
But he was in,
we're
he
not
was in
talking about
Wild at
anybody
Heart.
sucking.
I know. It's a different movie, man. I get it.
So Lacey is freaked out by
Don't act like you have.
Jake cutting the chicken. I guess because there's a knife in this chicken.
And he can't be around knives now?
No, this is Lacey, and she's having more flashbacks about that night.
I think that bitch doesn't need to be around a knife.
Then it's time to take Kevin to bed. She's singing Pop Goes the Weasel.
Oh, they have a kid, yeah.
Kevin.
Like,
And,
before, this is pre-Home Alone, so probably stolen. They probably stole the idea.
I'm
Home
guessing
Alone.
that the preacher's
John
gone.
Hughes stole the
So-
idea from Boogey Man.
Willie grabs the letter and the knife.
Kevin after.
And this is where I noticed the house looked like Amityville. The preacher leaves.
The original house you're talking about,
Willie's-
right? Are you
Willie-
talking about the farmhouse or the original house?
Well,
The house they're in right now.
in the
house
shot-
they
in
live
The
in.
house they live in
talking
now.
about-
Yes.
Okay.
the-
Because the other one kind of does too.
It's lit up the same
Yeah.
with like the red fucking light coming
Both
out
of the houses
the eyes
kind.
up top.
See,
Yeah.
okay, the house
The
they
eyes.
live in now reminds me
eyes.
more of Salem's Lot.
No,
The
the house,
ori-
this one's the one that has the fucking
There-
Amityville.
well, one of the houses
looks just like it.
The other house reminds me of a creepy house.
The other one
too.
is more Salem's Lot to me.
Okay,
Or
well, maybe that's what I'm
No, it
thinking.
reminds me more of Pet Cemetery House.
Dude,
Why did they spell that with an S? What was the point?
Because it was written by illiterate children.
It was written by Stephen King.
The fucking people that made the Pet Cemetery,
the sign.
the characters
Yeah.
that have long ago that aren't even in the story, they spelled it wrong because kids were putting their
I
how
think
children
that's
misspelled
stupid.
cemetery.
Okay, well, I think that's it.
It's explained in the book. Pick one up sometime. Jesus.
I read. Thank you very much. I know that
probably
it.
read more
She
than I
gets.
do.
I do read
Fucking
more than you.
bastard,
She gets
motherfucker.
fucking gang raped in it. They forgot about that in the miniseries. Go
Jessica
on.
Chastain. I would.
No,
yeah.
she gets raped. No, when they're little, they like it's how they
Oh.
become friends.
Never
They're
mind.
like we're all friends, so we are all gonna
she-
fuck you.
No.
In the book.
Kids do
that
weird stuff,
controversial
man.
thing is not a rape thing. That's how they.
It's like
all-
a blood oath.
It's just a gangbang.
And it's just weird.
She
Yeah.
consent,
Yeah.
but she
It's not
consents.
good.
No, she
I've
does
read
consent.
that-
She
yeah,
does
I've read
consent.
that
But you
one.
can't
what
really
kids- what
you
kids do
can't
to get-
consent when you're like fucking 11.
Well, when
Well,
the other
and
people are 11
the bullies
too,
are blowing each other in the fucking book and shit.
and it's all
weird. Like,
consensual. People do weird shit when they're kids. Come on.
Stephen King was doing a lot of good coke in the 80s and like was way
Wasn't
too
all
far out
cook
of
good in the 80s?
I think so.
We
think,
hear.
I think everything was
Speaking
better.
of 80s
Everything's going to
drugs,
shit.
if you ever come across any Quaaludes, Emily
Oh yeah,
and I would
Quaaludes,
love to
Quaaludes,
find
Quaaludes,
out.
Quaaludes.
1-800
We forgot last
Mike's
week.
number.
Yeah, we forgot the last
1-800-865.
episode.
Yeah. And also, just on paper, I want nothing to do with this.
We know that.
On the
You said
record.
it.
So
We're not going to give him to you.
Willie has stolen the knife from dinner. He's cleaning it off, and he puts it in a drawer with a bunch of other knives. So this motherfucker's just stealing. Every time they get a new carving knife, he's just like, oh, I need another knife. I'm Willie the Mute. You know,
Dude, okay,
and
so
no-
that's a trope too. Is like this like mute state farmhand or whatever is like. No, I'm
Well, he's
quiet,
traumatized.
Well, he's traumatized.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
fine.
But that's a trope.
Yeah, no, it is.
Childhood trauma. You can't talk no more.
I don't think it's that he's a farmer.
Wait, wasn't the little girl from
don't think
Don't
it's a
Torture,
trope for a
Don't Torture
farmer.
a Duckling? Wasn't she
Well,
like?
the trope of like
traumatized
it was like
and
some
not
hot chick
speaking?
around like a farmhand who's like mute. and
I
it's
shouldn't.
just like,
We shouldn't say mute. We should say nonverbal.
That mute is,
Is that-
not
is that-
mute
okay.
is not offensive.
Mute's not offensive. Okay,
No.
mute. So after
forward.
cleaning off
if
the
it ever
knife,
does become offensive.
after he cleans the knife, he burns his mom's letter, and then we see Lacey and Kevin, the little child. He's like she is brushing his teeth, and Jake comes up, her husband, from behind her and scares her by touching her, and he's like, "Come on, champ, I'm gonna give you a piggyback ride." And then we see Lacey fucking around in the bathroom mirror.
Her by touching.
No, he comes up from behind. She's like She's like looking in the mirror,
I know,
and like her husband like grabs her
Scares her by
shoulder.
touching.
I don't know why I just grabbed your shoulder.
I don't know. I don't either.
Shit.
Mike.
What?
So she's like fucking about in the mirror, like scared or something. And we see that
Well,
Willie
eventually we know why.
Willie has a snake and a tarantula, and he's feeding, I think, crickets to a tarantula. Then we
Don't
see
you feed tarantulas like mice or something?
No, you feed them avocado.
you feed
Avocados.
Yeah, they're vegetarians.
fatten them up for a nice tarantula salad.
Yuck.
Yummy, crispy.
You have to go
I've never
So,
understood like
it
people
cuts-
wanting a tarantula.
It cuts to a girl being
They're
dragged
furry.
in
Or
her
a
bra and
snake.
panties and getting tied to a bed, and this guy, this madman, sharpening a knife and stabs. But this is just Lacey's nightmare, and she wakes up screaming, and Jake kind of calms her down. But we see Willie is standing at the door eavesdropping, and her son Kevin can hear in the next room about Jake calming her down because she's freaking out about that night again. And Willie's
It's like,
a big,
bitch.
it's like mute people can listen more because he does a lot of
Well, I mean, he doesn't
he
talk.
does a lot of
so-
eavesdropping.
Well, he doesn't talk, so I guess all he does is listen.
So Jake is like, bitch, we're gonna go to a
I
therapist.
don't think he's like that about
He's
it.
like, we're gonna go to a therapist, and we need to take you to the house so you can get over your fear.
Well, no, he takes her to the therapist, and the therapist says, well, you should go to the house, I think.
Maybe.
I think at the
But
therapist.
Jake definitely wants her to face her past.
Yeah.
So the next thing we see is John Carradine, the doctor, and Jake and Lacey are talking about the problem, and the doctor's like, I'm gonna put you under, girl, so I can hear
I'm
the
going to
truth.
put you under, girl.
He hypnotizes
He
her.
hypnotized her. He didn't, give her anesthesia.
I don't know why, but when you said like he wants her to face her past, it's like he wants her to smell her own fart.
That's not what I meant.
But it means the
Wait,
same thing.
no, it doesn't, but...
No, you passed it. It's gone.
Oh.
That thing's out. Like, no. Wallow in your shame.
It's like smelling your vagina.
And making a woman Dutch oven herself or something.
He's
No.
like, wait a day and then like rub your ass crack and smell it.
Wait a day.
Wait a day.
Schmegma.
though. face your own smell.
Yeah. You see what you've done? It's like,
I feel like I'm now the babysitter again.
yeah, like a sociopathic way of rubbing someone's nose in there.
Yeah, especially if they've had sex the night before. It's like
Gross.
rub down there and smell what you've done, you dirty girl.
Genitals smell disgusting.
It's like Chuck Berry peeing on people. He was-
What the fuck?
Chuck Berry peeing.
Lou Reed pooped on people.
What?
Lou Reed used to poop on people in their sleep.
No.
He's
He
like,
probably
hold
did,
on.
but I think the record is he
It's all
asked some
Warhol
dude if he
related.
could. He asked some record executive or something if he could shit on his chest, and the dude was, or if he would shit on his chest, and the dude was like, no. He's like, well, what about if I put a plate on my chest? Like,
Now you're cooking
yeah.
with oil.
It's like when I said I let Tristan Bell shit in my mouth.
Who?
Remember?
Who?
One of the first times me and Nick ever hung out,
Christian
I
Bale?
said Christian Bell could shit in my mouth as long as he'd have
Oh
sex
no,
with me.
you didn't say that.
Yes,
no.
Why
that's
would
what I
he
said.
No,
would
you
want to
didn't
have
say
sex
that.
with you
That was
and then
completely
shit in your mouth,
different.
right?
I don't know.
I will
just
never.
say,
I will never forget.
Basically, I said I'll do
No.
anything to have sex with them.
Emily
American Psycho
said,
era.
I will do anything to have sex with him. I just wish I could just like sit on his face and he could just live off my vagina forever.
I don't remember that.
That's
Like a
exactly,
feedback.
that is an exact quote.
It was American Psycho era. Christian Bell, by the way.
Whoa, guys.
Yeah.
All right.
Moving on.
Back to
So-
the
This
Booger
was also
Man.
20 years ago.
Yeah, this was like 20 years ago. He's not even in my top 5 hot guys anymore.
While she's under hypnosis, when she gets to a certain point in the story about that night, she starts acting all.
When you do
Blaired
that
out.
night, he's doing air quotes because they always say that night, air quotes.
I thought I was doing it with my
You
voice.
were doing it with your hand,
Oh well,
but
I
no one
can't.
can see you.
So we should start doing video.
No, we absolutely shouldn't.
So she starts acting possessed. and she's like,
Wow, that night.
What?
What do you get out of here?
"That's my
Keep
possessed."
going, keep going.
This is like pre-possessed.
Nine.
Lick me, lick me.
He's doing a new metal album.
That was Annalise Michelle. You guys familiar with her?
Oh yeah.
The
What?
Bavarian girl that was
No, no,
possessed.
I know
that the exorcism of Emily Rose is based off of?
Yeah, and like if you can go on YouTube and hear this
public-
Yeah.
horrifying like
Dude,
18 minutes of
On the public, the
70s
first public
possession shit.
image
Fuck.
limited record, first issue, the thing that John Lydon, Johnny Rotten did after Sex Pistols, They do a song called Annalisa about that.
I heard that he was the stepdad of the singer of the Slits.
No, he was. He fostered her kid.
Fostered her
Because she
kid.
was so out of her mind. Aria, yeah.
So okay. By the way,
She's possessed.
that is
doctor
just
wakes
like
her up.
listening to the Toy Box Killer, that recording that killer had that he would play.
But is
when
that
he,
real?
Yeah, the Toy Box Killer.
Oh,
I was thinking about Toolbox.
No, his name
Murder.
is David Parker Ray, and he would play this recording when he would capture women, and he would play this recording. He'd be like, I think it started out with him saying, you can read the transcript, you can listen to it too. It's like, are you uncomfortable, bitch? I bet you are. I bet you're like scared out of your mind. And it's like really
Was the
long.
recording
And
of his voice?
It's him saying it, because I guess he got tired of saying it or something. But it's like all the different stuff he's gonna do.
Is
to
this
her,
like Dahmer making boys watch Exorcist 3?
Kinda, but he would just play it over and over and being like, I'm gonna let my dog fuck you, I'm gonna let all my friends fuck you, and we're gonna like all this shit. Yeah, it's fucked up. I'll send it to you.
No, I'm good. I'd rather listen to Annalise Michelle.
I haven't listened to the real recordings of that.
Don't.
I'm going to, like, as soon as we're done with this, and we're gonna listen to them together.
I was living at Mitchell's house when Ian lived there too, and Adam Deal was spending the night, and for some reason I put that on, and he's like, I think you woke something up in your house, man. The next day, I was
Adam Dill said
Yeah.
that? Then you probably did, because he's like a warlock.
he's pretty in touch. Yeah, I mean, there's no point.
I love him. I love him, but he's only witchery.
Even say that girl is
If
just gonna
anyone
be-
knows that a house is possessed, it's Adam Deal.
If anyone is going to be,
And if any
warlock,
house is
it's probably
possessed,
him.
I think it's haunted by old farts named Mitchell and Mike.
Maybe that's a form of chaos magic.
No, but they say that the Mabry
Old
Hazen house, that where I live,
the house
If you
across the
fart
street.
enough.
the house
into
up
a
on the hill,
corner.
Yeah.
like the property I live on used to be part of that
Yeah.
property. And
Why don't you give the address,
I'm pretty
Mike?
sure that house is supposedly
Pretty
haunted.
much has.
The
That's
fucking-
good and everything.
The fucking old
historical
lady,
home,
but the
he
old
said
lady
that
that
was
lived
really
there
nice.
last, she said that place was haunted, and she's definitely a fucking
That's not an
ghost.
old lady. That's Mitch. That's your roommate,
That's
dude.
your
I'm
roommate.
talking about
That's
We're
that's
all
Mitchell.
getting
Why
older,
is
you need
Mitchell
to
just-
realize.
You're getting confused.
Mikey, dumb. So she gets possessed. The doctor brings her back, and he's like, "Hey, Jake, don't mention that night. Don't tell the family that she did that."
By the King Soup karaoke is so bad.
So Willie hears Lacey telling the kid that they're going to go away for a few hours because he just can't stop eavesdropping. And they leave. They're going to the old house. There's a nice bridge. Willie's in the barn when this slutty girl from church named Katie shows up because she's supposed to pick up some eggs.
Oh, Katie. Hey, Katie. Speaking
Katie,
of slutty
what's up,
girl.
bitch?
I do remember seeing Katie
She's
scroll through this movie.
she's a
really.
reformed slut. She does have a boyfriend now, so
Are you married,
not
Katie?
slutting around anymore.
So Katie's there for eggs.
Okay, this is a new avenue. Hey, Katie's boyfriend. If you want to know
Whoa.
stories
whoa.
about Katie, and you have to guess if they're true or not,
She's
you can
TMI.
pay, and we will do a Patreon
She's
special for you.
TMI too. She's told him everything.
Shit.
Good girl.
That's so I said some of it's not true.
TMI.
I'm just gonna
it's
make
called
it up.
honesty and
She
accountability.
does listen to it all the time.
No.
She does not give it. She thinks it's hilarious you've made this a thing.
Oh,
She's
really?
like, you're dumb.
Well, it's been a minute. I
We
let
were
her
just
rest.
supposed to say hi, guys.
Anyway, Katie's boyfriend, hit me up.
So
I'm
this
sure he
girl,
will.
this girl
Patreon.
from church is like, every time we're in
I don't even
church
remember
together,
his name right
I
now,
think it's
actually,
Keith
so-
that you can't talk, and I'm always looking at you, but you never look at me. And he's like putting these eggs in a basket for her, and she like comes over and like puts her hand on his hand.
I'm as
So this
zoned out during
motherfucker
the
like
scene.
straight up starts strangling her and lifts her up like
Oh
he's
yeah,
goddamn
no, I did
Michael
remember
Myers.
that. I remember that because I was like, "What the
And
fuck
he's
are you
about to
doing?"
kill her, but he sees in the mirror that isn't the mirror. He sees himself in the mirror and he drops her, and she's like, "You're fucking crazy," and runs away.
It gets real weird. I was like, "Why the fuck did that happen at all in this movie?"
And
Like, I don't know what the point was of that. It's not like it's not like a whodunit.
but this is where he starts putting paint on all the mirrors.
Oh,
That aren't
yeah.
even the important mirrors, and the other mirror's not broken. These mirrors are fine.
No, none of the yeah. There's only
But he
one
puts
mirror
paint
that
on all
has.
fucking mirrors.
There's which begs the question. What
Willie's
the
crazy.
fuck? Yeah.
Did he not have to go to jail for killing this guy? Like,
No, because
They
he was a
never
kid.
go into how Willie is still free after he
Probably because they
multiple
Probably
stab.
because in another cut he was like beating the shit out of him or something. So he probably just went to a psychiatric ward. He was like so young.
Why is he not still there?
I mean, he was tied up. So
Okay, so then we see that they're still driving to fucking Virginia or whatever.
how far
This takes
away
place
is
in
this
Maryland.
house supposed
No,
to be?
they're in Maryland. This was shot in Maryland.
Is this house supposed to be that far away? I didn't think it
Maryland
was
to
that
Virginia. I mean, they're neighboring states, but they said they'd be gone in for a few hours.
Far. Okay. Well, I didn't realize they
So
were
they're
even
driving,
another state, but okay. I wasn't.
And
paying
then we
that
see
much
the aunt
attention.
finishing the dishes, and she starts saying, "Hey, shit! All the mirrors are painted black." And
Yeah,
she's like, "Willie, why?"
Willie, what's going on?
And then another cut to them driving to Virginia, and they finally arrive. Jake and Lacey are at the old house, and there's a girl there that opens the door eating an apple.
Her name's Jane.
They
Jane.
lie and say that they're there. She's like, "Are you all?"
No, she
Did the
immediately
realtor send you?
she says, yeah,
And
she
they are like,
starts
yeah.
it because I guess the house is for sale. So she's like, oh, are you here to look at the house? And they're like, oh yeah, sure. And she's like, all the furniture, my parents are out of town, but they said all the furniture can go with it. And then they go up to the bedroom
Well, she introduces them to the other sister.
and the brother, Timmy.
Yeah, they go upstairs, and
But they
Timmy
go upstairs,
scares them as soon as they go in the bathroom.
but
He's hiding in the shower.
The only thing that is left from the house from before, apparently, they kept the mirror.
Yeah, so
The
Lacey
mirror from
follows Timmy.
from like when she lived there.
Lacey follows Timmy, and he goes to this bedroom. It's the bedroom where the murder happened. And she turns around and sees the mirror, and there's the man with the pantyhose on his face
That scene
in the mirror.
scared the shit out of me when I was little because he's like laying down and he sits up.
And she turns around, looks on the bed. There's nobody there, but she
Yeah.
turns back to the mirror,
And
he's like walking
still walking towards her. Yeah, it's scary.
Okay, so-
it's like in Demons too.
She
They remind me of
screams and
that.
smashes the mirror with a chair.
The VHS copy that I had was rolling really bad. I mean,
Oh, the
it
tracking
was
issue?
Tracking.
tracking, yeah. But this during this part was where it was like, it didn't do it the whole movie.
Yeah.
It was
Except for
every
like
now and
that
then.
part.
Yeah, I remember that. That was on the parts like it was like.
Yeah, that part creeped me out when I was little. It was kind of the same idea of Demons too. When she like looks to the side and she comes like and walks out of the TV, that
Yeah.
scared me really bad. Like the rest of the movie kind of sucks, but like that part scared
but
me
those
when
are
I
like
was
everyday
little.
objects. It's not like you're at camp or it's like shit
Well,
that's
I
in your
just couldn't.
fucking
I remember
house.
like I just couldn't imagine something like looking because mirrors scared me anyway when I was little because
Yeah.
of like Bloody Mary and all that shit
Yeah.
or whatever. No, I mean
This should scare you nowadays, motherfucker.
I know.
I'm kidding. I'm
mirrors
kidding,
at
I'm
night
kidding.
would scare me. Like mirrors at night would scare me because all the
You
stories.
just like walk past them,
Night
they just like
mirrors.
crack and break.
Well, because I saw movies like this when I was like fucking
kidding,
7,
I'm kidding.
Booger Man.
and I was like,
Booger Man.
but I couldn't imagine like looking at something and having something come out, and then you look back, it's not.
I can imagine looking at something that was like me.
And vampires, you can't see them in mirrors.
But
Crazy.
yeah, but then you see something happening, you look back and it's not happening, but then you look back and it's still happening. You're like, oh fuck,
Yeah,
are they
that's
gonna
a
come
good
out and
effect.
get
I feel
me?
like other horror movies have done something.
Demons 2 did it.
Demons 2.
Yeah, but.
So,
I mean, but the demon does come out of it in that. I mean, it like actually walks through the TV. It walks through the TV. It's not a mirror. It's a TV.
Prince of Darkness has some awesome mirror shit.
I haven't seen that in a long time.
Prince of
so-
Darkness
It's one of my
Shit.
favorites. Hey,
Yeah.
Patreon members,
It's not.
somebody should be
dude,
like,
somebody should. Yes, I love that movie.
let's do Prince of Darkness.
I haven't seen it in so long. I don't remember
It's
anything
not the
about
best
it.
Carpenter film, but it's not the worst.
It's not a slasher though, so we need Patreons to request
It's
it.
not vampires.
Whoever requested Brain Dead, Dead Alive,
Her name's Kay.
Kay, thank you.
Yes.
We're excited about that one. So Jake comes running in there. Everybody
see
comes
a
running
dick
because she
rush.
screamed and smashed the mirror. And Jake starts picking up the mirror. She's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I'm cleaning up the mess."
Yeah. Also,
He tries
like
to give him
this is
15
also
bucks
this
for it,
person's house.
And that's when the lady's like, "Oh,
Jane.
don't worry about it. It was here when we got
When
here."
we got here, and I'm like, that's weird.
So that's the mirror that.
I feel like I would have thrown. Okay, would they have not told them this was a murder house?
So this guy was not a murderer. He was the
But he
Boogey
got
Man was not a murderer.
it's still a murder house because
Yeah,
he got
'cause the
murdered
kid
in the
murdered
house.
him.
So you think that someone that bought the house would know that? A, B, why would that fucking mirror still be there? Anyway, it is because it's
a pretty nice
well,
mirror.
if it wasn't there, then the movie wouldn't happen.
But I thought it was ridiculous that Jake was really being a jerk. He's like, we're gonna take this mirror with us. It's a broken fucking mirror.
Yeah.
Throw it in the garbage.
The
But he's like, no,
garbage.
we're taking it with us. And then we see him driving back. He's got it in a paper bag. And at the farm, he starts putting it back together. And the
Which
uncle,
is so dumb.
the
I don't
uncle is
understand.
yelling
I don't
at-
understand. What's his point?
He has no fucking point.
But
Just
is
that
he, I think
he's
is he
trying to
doing
make
it to
her
like
face
try to
her-
like face her fears?
I guess, but
the mirror.
this is taking it far. She went to the house.
Yeah,
but
she
the house
went,
fucked with
and
her.
also the mirror wasn't really. Well, now it's what holds the supernatural power, but she didn't know that. She didn't know she was scared of the mirror. She thought she was scared of the house.
Speaking of
So-
mirrors, Uncle Harvey, what's his name? The uncle is telling Willie, clean these fucking, get some turpentine, clean these goddamn mirrors off. The uncle is not having it. And there's one shard that Jake did not clean up at the old house, and it starts glowing red. And the door opens itself. We start hearing a heartbeat and heavy breathing. We got stalker vision going on.
Breathing a lot in this one.
We
But
see
you like the heavy breathing because it.
it's stalker vision.
Well, then you know, because I said he gets confused.
So there's a
when
girl
there's
cutting
more heavy-
vegetables.
He's familiar with it.
Yeah.
There's a girl cutting vegetables, and Timmy is eating ice cream and watching TV. And this other sister can't find her scissors, and she's like, "Fuck you, Timmy. Where's my scissors?" Phone
Fuck you,
call.
Timmy.
Timmy is a little shit.
We do
bird.
see a weird shadow
Yeah,
moving
the dude
across.
climbs the
Timmy
lattice,
sees.
but he's like, yeah.
Timmy sees the weird shadow.
Fucking weird with his sister, right? He's like wanting to look in on her titties.
Yeah,
it's
it's
fucking
fucking
weird.
strange.
Timmy's weird.
Timmy goes outside to check the shadow shit, and the stalker vision starts going to the bathroom where the
Shadow
sister's preening
sex.
He
herself.
loves shadows.
The Boogey Man
about
is
all the
watching the
time.
sister. I do like shadows.
that
Yeah,
shadow
you said in the
jack
last in the episode I just listened to, I think Strange Advice, you were like shadow something. I was like, God, he loves shadows.
Shadow sex.
It wasn't shadow sex. It was some kind of shadow play though.
Shadow jerk.
So
He loves the song Shadow, played by Joy Division too.
So she's like cutting her hair,
That's a good
and
song.
she's like, "Timmy, I know you're there. You're not gonna scare me." And she's like cutting her hair, and the mirror starts glowing again.
The mirror
and she
starts glowing red.
and she starts.
And Timmy's like, well, don't mind if I
She
do.
gets taken over and starts cutting her top off with the scissors, and then she sticks the scissors right in her fucking throat.
That
Falls down in
shit's
the tub.
crazy,
Yeah,
dude.
it's cool.
She
It's
falls
cool.
in the tub dead.
That's just pretty
Timmy
good.
thinks he's gonna scare her and comes popping through the fucking
The
window,
only
but the
thing I
window
saw in
just
this movie-
slams shut on Timmy's fucking head and arms.
That's the
I
only
thought
thing-
that shit was pretty fucking
This is
cool.
the
Yeah.
only thing I saw in this movie because the only thing wasn't in the dark.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, you,
I watched it on
he had a
VHS. I couldn't
VHS
see
copy.
shit, dude.
yeah.
Can you
no,
not turn that shit up on your TV?
Yeah.
The light.
Yeah, he probably could, but he really didn't know how.
Yeah. He was sleepy.
Yeah,
All
he
three
slept
times.
3 times during. He fell asleep 3 times during it. So if you
watched
expected him to
5
turn,
stars.
yeah. If you expected him,
If you want to go to bed, watch this film.
I hate watching this thing, man. I just had some person parked at my, like, I live in a weird place where there's
oh my
like
God.
people come to like have sex and do drugs.
Mike, we're
Next to
going
my
to need an
house.
address.
So I'm outside smoking a cigarette in my fucking
We
underwear
need an address,
at
zip
5 p.m.
code.
and somebody just like discharges a firearm.
What's the
And I'm like,
routing
"Don't-
address to
Don't
your
act
fucking
scared."
bank
And
account?
He's like, "Sorry, sir, I didn't see you standing there." Are
Some
we
guy
good?
shot
I'm
a
like, "Yeah, we're
gun?
good." I'm not gonna call the fucking cops.
Why was he shooting?
I don't know. I guess
How do we get to this?
I don't have no. I really don't know.
I was in a
Mike.
bad mood when I watched this.
It's going to be real weird when we get right back
Is
to
that
what
why
we're
you were in a
about
bad
to
mood?
do.
Because someone discharged a gun while you smoked a cigarette
It
on
was
your front
scary.
porch? So that's why you were in a bad mood.
It rattled my nerves. But
And that's
I didn't
the
want,
only reason.
I wanted to smoke more cigarettes, but I didn't want to go back outside because the guy was still.
There was a guy that.
He offered me pot and stuff.
Cool.
He's like, "Man, you smoke weed?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, I'll give you something to compensate." And I'm like,
I
"I'm
don't.
good. I just woke up. I gotta go take a shit. See you, man. It's all good."
You told him that?
Yeah.
Dude, we should change this podcast and call it...
Shitting and cunning with Mikey.
No, to Gag Me with a mic and just like weekly stories of what's going on with you.
Yeah,
I like how
man.
that put you in a bad mood. That nothing
was-
else. It was just that.
And I thought, yeah, it was just that.
It was not
and
just that.
Oh yeah, and I hate my life. Not really. Not really, but I wallow in misery quite often.
Yeah, I did that this week.
I'm gonna pitch that.
My birthday's in
Gag
like,
Me with a mic.
and my birthday's in 18 minutes.
Oh, shit.
I'm in
Almost happy
a
birthday.
horrible mood. I'm in a horrible mood. I bet you tomorrow's gonna suck dick.
Okay, yeah.
Let's
Everybody
finish
wants
this
to listen
turkey.
to people who are in horrible moods. So
Let's finish this turkey. So the brother gets to the window, slammed on, he's dead.
That part
The
was
other-
kind of scary when the girl
Wouldn't
turned
that
the
kill
scissors
somebody
on.
though? I guess it would, wouldn't it?
Yeah, when the
He's a kid.
girl turns the scissors on herself,
can't
that was
control
scary.
herself.
And then after that, I guess
So the other sister goes to the bedroom,
it's on the
folding
kill
laundry,
count, but she didn't die.
and the shard starts glowing again. When I say shard, I'm talking about this mirror
of glass.
Nah, you talking
And
about
she
that
finds it and
crystal.
picks it up, and she like, it's
It's
every
like- it
time
starts
somebody picks up
cutting
a
her.
shard, it starts cutting their fingers. That happens to
Well, because
everybody
it
that
won't,
picks up
like,
a
if
shard.
she can't let it go. It's like pulling her hand. So finally
it
she
kinda-
does.
Nobody knows
She
how to
picks up the
sweep this
shard.
shit up.
And it kind of draws her to where her siblings are.
But she drops it.
She turns on the faucet, puts it in the sink, and the fucking sink just like.
Catches on fire.
That's so awesome.
up in
I don't know
flame.
what that
And
is, but it's
apparently
awesome.
she dies there,
So she's
but
well.
she does it. It doesn't show
I've never
it.
seen it shows that she gets killed by the bathroom mirror door opening in her face.
Oh,
Dude, if I threw
oh
something-
yeah.
Yeah,
I
it
did
hits her
see
in the
that.
face.
If
Yeah,
I
I
threw
didn't think
something
that
in
would
the
kill
sink and it
somebody
fucking
though.
I mean, it's a
erupted like
boogie-
spontaneously
boogeyman.
combust, I'd be like, damn.
Boogeyman mirror.
I mean, I didn't think a bathroom mirror door would kill you. But
It normally wouldn't, but with some boogeyman force behind
But
it.
have any of us tried it? Have you ever tried to? We've
I
all
don't have a medicine
We've all
cabinet
broken
like
mirrors,
that.
but have any of you like tried to throw like a piece of it in the sink?
It should have
Maybe
like
it works.
broken the mirror on it, and then
I'm
to shut her face
serious,
with some
like-
mirror
Not the
in
same
it.
mirror, though.
Like if the mirror
Let's
broke
do
and they're
it,
like
dude. After
mirror
we
in
get
her
done with
eyes.
this podcast,
That's what I would
no,
say, yeah.
dude, you got a mirror you can get rid of, Emily, right?
No,
We're
I
not
don't.
breaking any damn
Dude,
mirrors.
let's throw a piece of it in the
I
sink.
don't have a mirror to get rid of.
Dude, that's not how mirrors
Maybe
work,
that's-
man. This
maybe.
is a booger man mirror.
No.
Okay, so anyway, now it cuts to these random teens
So
that are
Random
like
shit.
they're across the lake
I'm not
or
legally
something.
allowed to be
Oh,
within 500 yards of.
So
random
first it's
teens.
Dr. John
That's more
Carradine
Mike's thing,
and
but-
Lacey, and he says that it's not her fault what happened that night, and Willie is out sweeping hay, and
Oh, I forgot back to the farming.
but the bag somehow blows to right in front of the barn, and the
Bag of the mirror shards.
the bag of the mirror shards because and it's just the little pieces because. I thought that they threw it away. I thought they threw the fucking mirror
a
away.
little piece
But no,
'cause-
most of the mirror is
Fam
still
cut.
in the house. But there's little shards in this bag that blows in front of the barn. The radio starts freaking out. And this pitchfork rises by itself. And there's the breath and the stalker vision,
But it
the
don't do
heartbeat.
nothing.
And it's
don't
about
do
to stab
nothing at
Willie,
all.
but then Lacey comes in. And it stops it for a second. And the mirror's like, oh, what
Well,
do I do
because
now?
it goes off to like deal with these teenagers.
So
Really?
she sees it and screams and knocks it out of the way. So then Jake and Lacey are talking, and that's when she's like, Kevin's coloring at the table, and she's like, I'm going to take Kevin fishing. And we still see
Oh,
Willie.
the reason that it happens to the teens is because
Yeah,
there's a
'cause
shard
it's
on Kevin's shoe
Yeah, exactly.
that stays on his shoe the whole
And
time.
Willie's still fucking cleaning these mirrors with turpentine.
This is a weird angle to work with.
It is.
You know, like
The mirror can kill people, man.
just the shard on the bottom of some. It's like bubble gum.
So I
Not
think
like
one of my favorite parts of the
demonic
movie
bubble gum,
are
but
these
it's just
kids that are
glass.
just
Me
they're
too.
fishing.
I like them. I mean, they're likable. They're only in it for like I don't
There's
know.
the one guy.
15 minutes.
It's the
but-
only two. There's two couples. One of the couples dies.
Andy
so
and-
the guy from the couple that dies, they have a fish,
His
and
name's
they're gonna
Andy
throw it
and her
back.
name's Jenny.
And he's like, he's looking at you, kid, and he kisses this fish and throws the fish back.
He
I
does
really
a
got a
Humphrey
kick out of
Bogart,
it.
like
Yeah.
compared
he
to
does the
Hazel
bogey.
and the old kid.
Yeah.
He does a bogey with a fish
But like,
kiss.
so they're across the lake from where Kevin and Lacey are fishing, and Kevin
yeah,
has
they're on the shore, and
Kevin has this
Kevin and
shard.
Lacey are like on a.
Kevin has a shard of
dock.
glass stuck to the bottom of his shoe, and it's like supernaturally.
catches
And
the
this is
sun
going to
and
be a
glows.
running gag for the rest of the fucking
it will
movie.
be. It catches the sun, and so it's gonna like wreak havoc on these two out of the four teams.
Two of the four.
Which I don't know what really happens to the other two.
Well, so they're hanging out, grilling hot dogs, and the other two, the ones that die, they go into this trashed house, and she like gets down on her knees and starts. She's about to blow
Yeah, she's
this
about
dude.
to blow
Dude,
him.
no,
And we see light flashing from the shard.
dude,
The shard from
which
across the
seriously,
lake.
is
man.
impossible.
Going downtown in a burned out building is the coolest shit in this
You
movie.
should write that
Like,
shit down.
I
man.
did.
Going downtown in a
downtown.
burned out
Yeah.
building.
No, she's
Like,
ready,
that's-
she's ready to suck
Going downtown
some
in a
cock.
building.
I just made it a Graham Nash Emmylou Harris song.
Trying to suck a
Return
dick till I
to-
feel something feeling.
Return to the grievous, burned out building.
No, yeah. No, seriously, man. Like,
So
yeah. That girl's cool, man.
Yeah, give it. Yeah,
Yeah, she knows
any
what-
any girl that knows
she
that the
knows
best
what
best
boys
form
want.
of the best form of communication is blowjobs.
boys want
Boys
blowjobs.
like blowjobs.
Well, I'm just saying.
So the shard makes a board fall over.
Everything's too, but
I didn't realize
the
it was
setting,
such a thing that
to
guys
give
love
a
so
to give a
much.
blowjob
I'm
to
not
give a
really sure.
blowjob in that setting, and mind you,
Oh.
like I remember when I was skateboarding as a kid when I was very young, middle school, and like
And you got a mirror shard stuck to your
no,
face?
I was skateboarding in a
Nick's first blowjob.
back parking lot of a fucking
Who
grocery
you
store.
blowing?
Nobody was there. It was the grocery store gone defunct, and I was
Was it
like,
a Food Lion?
I walked past this
Probably.
car. I was like,
Win
Win
carrying-
Dixie.
no, and there's this dude, and he
There
looked
was a
over, and
dog
I
there.
looked over.
Why were you
And
blowing
then
this
this
dude and the
girl
dog?
came out of his lap, and she goes, "Hey, honey," and I was like, "Oh shit!"
That was a prostitute?
I don't know. Maybe it's just some
That
chick
sounds
pl-
like a
It was.
prostitute.
I was like 12 years
Was
old.
this
It
like
was
Western Avenue?
no, it was on Pleasant Ridge.
Pleasant Ridge.
Yeah. It was
Word.
the defunct Food Line.
Yeah.
We better ask if it's Food
I
Line
was
or
they, had a
Winn
Food
loading, they had a
Line.
loading dock in the
We used
back,
to
and I
have
was
the
like
White Store
skateboarding.
in-
White
back there.
Store, yeah.
But yeah, it was like, "Hey, honey," and that was the first time I saw.
Sounds real old and witchy.
It was. I mean, it was. There was.
So
I just thought it was.
Anyway, back to the movie.
So this girl's trying to suck some
No,
dick,
it's talking more
and
about
the
Andy,
shard, the
Andy's-
shard light from across the river or lake, it makes this board fall over. So she gets freaked out.
Shard.
She hears the noise of the falling board, and she's like, "I want to leave." The other couple's like, "No, we're staying." And the guy who dies, there's a knife. There's a knife there to make these hot dogs for some reason, like a butcher knife.
it's a big fucking knife.
So after he,
I
but
would
for
call
some
it a
reason he
machete
throws.
almost.
These hot
He throws
dogs.
the non-blowjob girl. He throws the other girl in the lake, kind of, and she's like, "God damn it, it's cold." But after that, he
The
like puts the knife in the
non-blowjob
box.
girl, not Jenny.
Yeah,
Jenny's
not blowjob girl. He
blowjob girl's
throws-
name is Jenny, but
Blake girl.
or a lot of girls.
So there's a knife in the
blowjob
box that the
girls, I
guy's
guess.
putting in his car, and he's like putting the shit in the car, and then he like notices something weird, and the shard's glowing, and we hear stalker vision. So there's the heartbeat and the breathing,
Is that a cool scene?
and he gets in the car, and this knife flies through the back of his neck and out of his mouth. It was really cool.
It's a huge knife. I would
a
call. I
big-ass
mean, I would
knife.
say like a machete almost. It's huge.
It's like a butcher knife
Yeah.
kind of deal.
I mean, bigger.
So
Pretty-
the girl,
pretty big.
his girl goes to check on him, and she kind of like leans in halfway in the car, and she's trying to talk to him, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And the car door, because the shard glow, the car door hits her in the butt, and she like, her mouth goes onto his mouth where the knife's sticking out.
Yeah, so it's
they're
a
like
double
stuck
double
together,
whammy.
which that wouldn't kill her,
Oh well, I mean,
but. Let me suspend my belief.
Okay.
It's disbelief.
I know it is, but you said the fucking bathroom mirror door would kill that
It
girl.
could have. True.
It wouldn't.
Yeah, these kills are not very killy.
But I mean, with
But it
the
looks really
Boogey
cool.
Man,
It's very. I wrote cool with an
it was
exclamation.
it was a good kill.
So this is where.
All the kills are actually pretty good in this movie. I will
Yeah.
say. I mean, like the movie's kind of
Except this catfish. That didn't look real at all. Kevin catches a fish.
That's like not.
catches a
it's
little
not
cat.
it's not a kill.
And the other couple thinks that they're just making out.
All the kills
She's
are
like,
good except for the
girl's like,
catfish.
I've never seen such a long kiss. But they're like, faces are stabbed together.
Oh, well, they're like, they got their own car.
But they
Fuck
got their own
'em.
car.
Yeah.
They just leave them there. And these jerks
I
leave the
guess,
blanket and all
I
the
guess
shit at
if
the
you
lake.
looked-
Yeah,
if
they were
you
gonna
looked at
leave
your
everything.
buddies
They
and
didn't
were
clean up
like,
their
oh,
mess.
well,
Yeah, they were
at
like,
all.
well, they were like, Andy and Jenny can do it, but Andy and Jenny be dead.
There was a
so.
Native American old man crying.
At the side of the road,
background.
yeah.
Protect your
Oh,
Maryland
like
lakes.
the old commercial.
No, they just left their shit
They
there.
still show that commercial.
And they get in the car, and this awesome song by 3 out of 4 doctors.
4 out of
plays.
5 doctors.
4 out of 5 doctors plays. It's a really good song.
Yeah.
So then we see Jake, Willie, aunt, and uncle at the kitchen, and there's a shard in the floor, and Jake like picks it up.
Shards.
And Jake picks it up, and it starts cutting him, and he's like putting it back in place. And about this time, Lacey and Kevin are getting back. Stalker vision starts happening, heart beating, heavy breathing, and Lacey's shirt starts ripping out of nowhere. While inside at the same time, Jake is like, ooh, like transfixed by this fucking piece of glass in his finger. And he puts it back dramatically.
That band has a cult following.
The uncle is like, what the fuck? And everybody comes outside because they hear Lacey screaming about a ripped shirt. And Jake tells Lacey that she was right all along. And she's like, I released the Boogey Man. And the uncle says this is all bullshit.
He says that,
but he calls the priest. And the priest answers and comes to help them. And then Lacey's smoking in bed, just like freaking out, like, fuck my life.
I hate this Boogey Man.
After she puts out her bed cigarette, which smoking in bed is one of the great pleasures in life. Eating and smoking in bed, I love it.
I don't do that.
It's overrated.
So after she puts out her
agree.
cigarette, she's saying a
They
prayer.
have a song in House on Sorority Row.
Oh no shit!
Yeah.
4 out of 5 doctors agree
Yeah.
that man.
They have a
kicks
cult
ass.
following, pretty big, pretty big.
So
pretty
Lacey's-
big power pop band.
Lacey's praying as the
they're
preacher
great.
shows up. And we see Jake somehow is at the doctor's again talking about the mirror. And the doctor's like, oh, there was a similar incident in New York, Amityville, in 1975. But Jake's like, oh, I got to go back home. It's like, you were just at home and you went to the doctor's. He's trying to tell you something.
There's a similar situation in Amityville involving mirrors.
Were there
He said
mirrors?
that. He said there's a very similar situation
Is there a
involving
mirror in
Amityville.
Amityville? The movie?
It's in New York.
No, it's
What about it?
Is there a mirror in the movie?
I'm sure there's a mirror in the house, but
No,
there's
I mean that's part of the story.
No.
Margot Kidder
No.
and James Brolin,
We know
their
who's in
bedroom
it.
has like the 70s mirrored wall
Well,
where it's like,
Oh,
what
where you
they're
can see the
doing.
fucking.
But nothing
Yeah.
No, I don't think there's anything like that happens with the
But
mirror.
then she
What do you
turns
think,
around
shadow
whenever
sex or mirror
like,
sex?
she has all the burns on her face or whatever.
Mary fuck kill, shadow sex, mirror sex, lake sex.
What is
What?
the
What?
Like
First of all,
sexy,
first of all,
you're getting
Mary fuck kill?
first of all, define shadow sex.
That's that stuff from Hell Night.
yeah,
I
but
see
like
shadows going at it, but you can't see the people.
no, is it watch? Which one do I want to watch or do?
That
was
raises
just a-
more questions, Mike. Okay, so it's
Kill lake sex
it's
because water
shadows-
sex is not.
It's shadows
Yeah,
going at it.
lake sex. That's
Kill lake sex.
Besides being a voyeur,
That's
by
Yeast Infection
proxy,
City.
how am I involved?
That's what I was. I was like,
Like,
do I just watching all
So
three?
kill
like,
shadow sex.
I mean, no,
kill lake
kill.
sex.
shadow
No,
sex.
no, you kill
kill lake
You
sex.
kill lake sex because water.
Fuck shadow,
Lake
fuck
sex.
shadow sex.
Lake sex.
Marry
what the
mirror
fuck?
sex.
Having, like,
mirror
having
sex,
sex
you're
with
actually
the
having
lake.
sex.
Oh, dude, no, I've
Without
never done
yeast
it, but I've heard
infections.
about it.
It's
my
awful.
not
my
good.
buddy
It's
once
awful.
told me
And
he
you got
had some
water
dirty
sex.
I
lake
got
sex
broken up
with
with
his
my
wife,
girl.
and I
I
was
really
like, that's
like
weird.
of lake sex.
Because of lake sex.
And then
Why
what's the
would you
third?
get
What's the
rid
third
of-
one? What's the third one? What's the third one?
She got one from lake sex, so
From
she
Lake
broke up with
Norris
you.
Lake.
You fuck-
What's the third one, dude? What's
She
the
broke
third
up
one?
with you because she got a yeast infection.
Yeah,
Well,
you
that
fucked
was, I'm
in
sure
a
that wasn't
lake.
the only reason, but it definitely
don't
added
think
to
it was the only reason.
discomfort.
I don't even think you fucked her.
No,
Anyway,
she was in love with my friend.
hey man, but what's
Okay,
the,
that was the
what's
wrong reason. Let's get
what's
you
the
got a
fuck
yeast
Mary
infection.
kill on this? What's the third?
I'm saying kill
I-
like sex, fuck shadow sex, marry mirror sex.
Mirror sex was the
What is mirror sex?
It's
I
like
think
70s
washing-
having a mirror on the ceiling so you can see yourself fucking.
Oh, that Mary,
Wait,
Mary,
whoa,
Mary,
whoa,
Mary,
whoa, okay,
Mary,
whoa,
Mary,
whoa, whoa.
Mary,
Like-
mirror sex.
That's a weird. That's
Fuck
a weird
shadow
thing.
sex.
We're just
Have
talking
you
about
ever
it in
experienced
Amityville.
that where there's like a mirror like closet or
But in
whatever? Or like,
Amityville,
or,
Margot Kidder and
I've
James
never had the
Brolin
ceiling,
had a nice
but-
mirror that
no,
they could
no,
watch
there's
themselves
been
fucking.
there's been
I have a
mirrored
mirror inside
closets, and
I have a
that's.
mirror inside my closet.
Do you ever
If
look at
you
them when you're
watch
fucking?
yourself
Inside my
fuck
closet.
somebody, you are a sociopath.
What if they're watching it too? And it's something like you agreed on.
I looked at myself and I looked right back away.
I agree with that. It's weird.
Like
Okay.
I looked.
But what if like
it's not about
you
that?
had a long-term
No,
girlfriend?
I've shut my closet
And she
door
was
because
like-
it's on the inside of my
Yeah.
closet
If you
door,
had a
and
long-
I've shut
a long
it.
time-
I mean, it
girlfriend.
doesn't bother me. I just don't.
I
look
don't
at-
need to see my.
she's
And
like-
myself.
and that
I don't-
and
What if it was
there,
your girl's
it's-
idea?
That is
It would never be-
that is
it would never
TM Nikki.
TM Nikki.
Yeah. That is
No,
too personal for me.
no one wants to see,
anyway,
like,
my
themselves.
social security number is
No, no one wants. It's like when you like actually think about it later when you're not having sex, like thinking about the faces you probably make. It's very embarrassing. You know,
Okay.
think about it when you're not having
and
sex. When you're having sex, it's fun, but then when you think back on it, you're like, "Ugh, I probably like looked really."
and
weird.
the results are in. And Adrian, you are the father.
Yeah, that too.
All right, let's go, Mike.
Okay.
We need to finish. We're like, this is so long.
What have you done to Solange?
The uncle calls over the preacher.
What have you done for
Lacey
Solange?
smokes and prays in bed.
Oh, there are two.
The preacher
sequels.
arrives. Jake. Oh yeah, I already said this. This is the Amityville part where Jake's
It
the
has
doctor,
been
and it's like, oh, I gotta go. So at some point, the family is there with the preacher at the kitchen table, but the aunt and uncle are like, fuck this, we're going to the barn. And Jake is telling the preacher
I don't know why
about the
they
mirror.
Go to the barn.
And the preacher puts his hand on the mirror and it starts glowing and pulsing. It's like, oh shit, all the mirror, not just a little shard. And then we can see the face and the pantyhose in the mirror. And a shard goes flying into Lacey's eye. And we
They
hear a
just
scream
sit
from the
stuck there.
barn. So the preacher and Jake go to the barn with a flashlight, and it's got this flashlight in the barn thing for too long, but blood starts dripping on the preacher's face. They look up. Oh, there's the uncle with the pitchfork through his neck, like what almost happened to Willie earlier. And then when they turn around, Annie Helen falls out of the door. She's fucked.
She's strangled by a garden hose.
So then Jake and the preacher are running to call the police, but while Jake's on the phone cord just explodes, which was cool.
Dude,
And fucking
also,
Lacey's just cooking at the
preacher with the blood running down his fucking that was awesome.
Oh, it was really cool. Wait.
And,
We're not.
like,
No, that's.
I
We're
know.
almost
We're
there.
not there yet. The barn blood's not very much blood, but Lacey's like cooking, like nothing's wrong. She's like, Jake's like, what the fuck are you doing? And she's like, oh, I'm cooking dinner. And he's like, aunt and uncle are dead. And she's like, oh, well, I guess I'll make a little less. She's like, she turns around and she's got one of the shards in her eye, and it looks really fucking cool. She's possessed.
This hat gave me a little bit, and I don't think you've seen this, but it gave me a little bit of the shitty first shot on Shitty-O movies. First shot on Shitty-O movie, Boarding House. It gave me a little bit of that
Boarding
vibes.
House vibes?
This scene, because
She
there's a
reminded me of
possessed
Sheetar from
issue.
Blood Diner.
Anyway,
Yeah,
she's
Blood
like,
Diner. That's a great one. Unofficial sequel to Blood Feast. Well, Jake's eyes start bleeding out of nowhere, and the preacher's like, "What the fuck?" And there's this crazy wind, and
He doesn't say
Willie's
that.
just sitting there like a fucking bump on the log, like scared. I can't talk. And the preacher, preacher grabs a big cross, and he tries to remove the shard from the eye. But, like, while he's reaching for it, like, all this blood, this is what Nick was just talking about, all this blood starts fucking flowing down his face.
well, at
And-
some point he gets, around that time it's when he gets stabbed in the back with, like multiple
seven
knives.
knives.
He's getting
And I
fucked
think
up.
there's like a ninja
But he
side in there.
basically
Something like
sacrificed
Willie
it.
screams Lacey.
He's sacrificing himself
And-
for
I
her.
understand
Right
that,
up-
but it's like,
right
but you
after the
don't see
mute
that
screams
until
Lacey.
it's like
He's
he
not
turns
moving
around.
her.
It's like,
Willie does scream Lacey.
And
That's a
then
big deal because he's been
that's
mute the
when
whole
the preacher
movie.
gets
So
the shard, and we
he's
see
able to grab this shard
that's when
out
we
of her
see
eye.
all
Oh,
the
he
knives
thinks
in the
he's
back.
people now?
It's like Willie's voice allowed the preacher to have a little more
it was like
power
that
to
moment
grab the
in
shard.
The Exorcist when he's like, when he's like, turns into the demon, and then there's like a split second where he cuts back into himself and like gets himself to throw himself out the window.
Yeah.
It's like that.
So
Just like that.
there are all these knives in the preacher's back, but he's able to drop the shard in the sink, where again it bursts into flame, and somehow Willie and Jake cover the mirror, take it to the well, throw it in. Kevin runs out, so there's a little bit of kid danger, you know, because Lacey's like, "Oh, Kevin,
a little bit of
Kevin!"
kid danger. Gotta get
They
that
toss it
there.
in the well, and there's this huge
get the
explosion,
kids in there.
and an evil scream, like, "Oh, demon scream! Oh no!" So then, the next scene is a morning in the graveyard. We see Kevin and some friend that he has that I guess lives in the graveyard, because they just leave that other kid in the graveyard. But Kevin's playing.
Yeah.
There's kids running, and Willie's now fully verbal. He tells Lacey it was his fault. Not
He's
his,
talking
not
now.
Willie's
He's
fault.
really talking.
It was the
Look at him,
killer's.
that crazy son of a bitch.
It was the guy he
He's
killed's
really
fault.
doing
It was the Boogey Man's fault, not hers. And Kevin still has a shard in his fucking shoe. And he has a really nice Spider-Man t-shirt on. Like a yellow ringed Spider-Man
I
shirt.
saw that in The Amazing Spider-Man.
And we find out that they're moving away. It's like a 3-day trip
Wonderful.
to their new place. So they must be moving to California. But like in the sequel, the shard is left in the graveyard and it starts glowing. We hear the breathing and the heart beating and the credits.
That's that's a weird thing because it's like a trope for like craving for a sequel, but Apparently, they got a sequel.
They got a couple.
Yeah, there's a return of to
Boogeyman
I think,
2
or
and
something.
Return to Boogeyman from 1994.
Yeah.
Return of
I've
the-
never seen that one.
82 is the second one.
83 is the
83 is the
second
second
one.
shitty one.
Yeah. I've never seen the third one. I don't know if they
I
he
don't want to see them.
pulled it from circulate. I don't know what happened. But anyway, okay, kill count.
Okay.
So our first death is at 7 minutes and 30 seconds, and that's the lover. That's what he's known as, the lover, or the boogeyman.
I still don't think he was that bad of a guy. I mean, you shouldn't
mean,
tie a kid up. You shouldn't. But the mom's sitting there watching, like, she's probably making this motherfucker tie this kid up.
I don't know.
What
I don't
did he
know.
do?
Well,
It's
I mean,
the
apparently,
mom.
I guess in another cut, he beat him too. But anyway, so, okay, at 7 minutes, 30 seconds, he's stabbed in the back by Willie. At 45 minutes, Susan, that's one of the siblings that live in the house that they used to live in. She cuts her own throat with, well, I mean, her throat's cut with scissors. She does it to herself, but it's because of the boogeyman. Okay. 30 seconds later, Timmy, her brother, is crushed by a falling window. So stupid. At 47 minutes, Jane is quote unquote killed, but it says killed off screen. But I guess it was after
she gets hit in the face. That's the only
she
thing
does get hit in the face. But at an hour, we have Andy, who's one of the random teens. He's impaled through the back of the head with a large knife. And then 30 seconds after that, his girlfriend Jenny is also impaled through the back of the head with a large knife. That's just the front of her head, really. She gets pushed into him anyway. Yeah. Then at an hour and 11 minutes, you have Uncle Ernest Edwards impaled by a pitchfork to the throat off screen. That's when you see him. I don't know when it happens. Then about 30 seconds after that, you see Aunt Helen Edwards, and she's been strangled with a garden hose off screen. And then at an hour and 15 minutes, his father Riley, he's stabbed repeatedly in the back. He has like 7 stabs or something. He has like a bunch of knives.
There's a bunch of knives sticking out of him.
Okay, I think we've already talked about this a little bit, but Susanna Love, the star, is the sister of co-star
Nicholas
Love, who plays Willie. He was in Fatal Games. And she was married to the director, and she co-authored the screenplay.
She did.
So, all of John Carradine's scenes were shot in a single day.
Good for him.
I think the budget was only about $300,000. Yeah. It made $25 million with a limited release, but little went to the cast and crew because the distributor was in the midst of bankruptcy at the time.
Warhol got it all.
Well, I know no one did because the distributor was in the middle of a bankruptcy at the time. Which, you know what, that doesn't. You would think that if that money came in, they would be like, hey, stop our bankruptcy. We just made all this money. So never mind. But I guess that's not how it works.
Wait a minute. Who are we to know? We've never experienced Hollywood highway robbery.
Well, I do know someone that declared bankruptcy.
I wonder if it's like some chainsaw shit where mafia took it.
I don't know. But Willie was in Fatal Games. Okay, so it has been, I mean, it's mostly gotten pretty negative reviews because it's been said it's like a ripoff of basically Halloween, The Exorcist, and Amityville Horror all in one kind of.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a couple notes. John Carradine is a fucking classic actor. He's in the goddamn.
Yeah, I don't think we need to go
Invisible
into
Man. But he's in 2 movies. We talked about Yvonne DiCarlo last week. They're in 2 movies together. Vampire Hookers and Satan's Cheerleaders. I've got to see both these movies.
He's in a bunch of Hammer films.
Willie was also in Wild at Heart.
Jake, Willie was in Twin Peaks also. He was just a guy in a wheelchair in Wild at Heart.
But Jake the husband is a Canadian comedian. He's from Canada.
He's a comedian from Canada.
He's
it's
in
Canada, Mike.
He's in
it's not
Strange
called
Brew,
Canada
Tommy Boy,
ever.
and Ernest Reds Again.
He was in Tommy Boy?
Yeah.
And what?
Strange Brew and Ernest Reds Again.
Oh, okay.
Max von Sydow was
you love
in
serial killer
Strange
shit.
Brew.
Have you seen any of these Uli Lommel early 2000s serial killer movies? Because he has a BTK movie, a Zodiac movie,
I might have and didn't realize
he's got a Night Stalker movie.
I probably have and didn't realize that was.
He made a whole series.
They're not very. None of those fucking movies are very good, but I have seen a lot of them, so probably.
I don't think I've seen them.
I've probably seen them.
Interested, you know.
They're not usually very good. So. Anyway,
should we rate it?
Yeah, we should rate it. What do you rate it, Nick?
I give it to tell you the truth, I give it kind of a strong 2.
Strong 2?
Yeah.
Dang.
It wasn't like, I didn't hate it.
I give it a 2.5, but I think that
Dude,
the extra
same,
0.5 is out of the
2.5.
nostalgia.
The VHS copy that
2.5.
I actually watched, I was like, I think there's like the
You had an issue with dark with I think
it's
you
so
want to
dark.
like I
Like,
think that was.
like-
I mean, actually,
Hit your settings, dog.
I thought Silent Scream was a faster
like, I was watching
movie
it
to
on like
watch,
a
but that's because
modern
I've seen Boogey Man. I
TV.
think.
Just
Well,
like
I like this slightly
a
less
VCR.
than Silent Scream, and I gave that 2.75. That's what I'm saying. I like it when I remember what I scored something else. I like this slightly
I
less
like
than Silent
this.
Scream.
I like
So,
I
I
like
went-
this one fine. It
2.5.
yeah,
Strong
I'm
effort.
fine
I
with
mean,
it.
the fact that they made so like, if this cost, they made almost 25 million.
Oh, they're
I will
these
say-
movies that he made about fucking serial
Ed
killers
Gein and
got
shit.
like 1.8 stars and shit.
Thanks,
That's like
thanks,
really
Andy
that for
Warhol.
IMDb. That's real bad,
That's bad. Oh, he also made that movie Blank Generation with Richard Hell and the Boy Toys.
which is not good.
Yeah.
but I mean,
No, the movie's not good, but the music is Richard Held and the Void Arts rule.
yeah, but
Blank
I mean, that
Generation
doesn't-
is one of the
does
best
not
songs.
make a
Uli
movie.
Lambo. So stay gagged on
A shard of glass.
on the-
I mean, a shard of a mirror.
chicken. That's freaky because there's a knife in the chicken. Oh no. Stay gagged on a butcher knife kiss and a little tap on the ass from a car
Stay
door.
gagged on that catfish.
Stay gagged on them scissors sticking at your motherfucking neck, bitch.
Stay gagged on
Nick-
on the stockings.
Nick, what are you gonna stay gagged on?
Man, I don't know.
Your own spit.
Yeah. We're just gonna let him whatever. Stay gagged on all of our social media.
I'm not that bad.
You're the best.
No, we didn't
No,
say
I'm
You're the
it.
not.
best.
I'm not.
Around.
Nowhere near
No
the
one's
best.
ever- Oh
Okay,
shit!
it's been an
Copyright.
hour and 5 minutes. So stay gagged on all of our social media: Instagram, TikTok, Gag Me with a
Thank
Knife
you, guys.
podcast.
Sorry, boss.
Our Twitter, Gag Knife Pod. Become a Patreon for early access to episodes,
What about Insta?
member shout outs. I said Instagram and TikTok.
Oh.
Gag Me with a Knife podcast.
Whoa, I'm
Twitter,
sorry.
Gag Knife Pod.
She's on that shit too.
Become a Patreon for early access, member shout outs, fan requested episodes, and bonus exclusive episodes you won't find anywhere else. www.patreon.com/Gag Me with a Knife podcast. And buy our merch at gagmewithaknifepodcast.com. And we'll see you next week for the actual love episode, which I hate the movie, but it is my
I
Bloody
think it's
Valentine.
Well,
Everyone's just
well,
looking
the true.
It comes out the day after Valentine's Day.
There's
so-
a
Nice.
www.callmikeup.com.
You're gonna have to go buy that website
I mean,
now.
you can find my number in past episodes.
Yeah.
Get
That,
nice
that
to this
website
member.
does not
Call me.
exist.
But don't go to that website.
She's like a prom queen and I'm the prophet of doom. I'm smuggling firearms, she's reading Mademoiselle. Don't drop the nerve gas, that's not perfume on that shelf. I'm using force in effect, it's going to change. She needs a new dress, she thinks she'll go shopping today. Oh, I'm not from her world. No, I'm not from her world. I'm not from her world. No, I'm not from her world. I've got a radio broadcasting to the third world. She's got a dance class tonight, she's learning to twirl. I think the phone's tapped, I hear the cops at the door. She's into yoga now, and out of shape on the floor. I think the world is a mess of corruption and vice. She thinks the world's great issues cause awfully nice. Oh, I'm not from her world. No, I'm not from her world. I'm not from her world. No, down a silk and she tells me to bring home a gallon of milk. I hear the boots now, the social one's getting near. She's in the mood for whatever's fashion this year. She says to get dressed, we're having dinner at 8. And I've set the time bomb so